I know I really shouldn't be talking about the foods of Christmas, and I should kind of pretend like I really don't eat much, but a big part of Christmas for me was the foods of Christmas. And you know, you can't really have Christmas and enjoy a jolly good time if you don't have a jolly lot of food. And it's like that was the centerpiece of Christmas. Let me tell you something. It is like from Christmas ended. If Christmas end this year, the preparation for food start the next day. Because you have to start soak the fruits them, you have to start, planning have to start. Whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously, you're planning for Christmas. The hog that was probably started out in January as just a little thing had to be fattened up so that by December it's ready, and so on and so forth. Now in my home, Christmas Day foods, the high point of Christmas Day foods was really a big everlasting brunch. I can't even call it breakfast. We never knew anything about brunch then, so we just say breakfast. I don't really know that we had so much Christmas dinner. The big everlasting Christmas dinner happened on Boxing Day the next day. But on Christmas Day, it was this amazing breakfast, right? I don't know nothing about showbread. This was a special bread, you know. And the bakeries is almost as if they would vie to see who would come up with the most creatively shaped showbread. So I remember some of the shapes of these breads would be like, you'd have one big duck and several smaller ducks. And this would be part of the centerpiece of the big breakfast spread, you know, man. So this showbread really, it was a hard-dough bread really, but it would be crafted into different shapes. It could be alligator, but me really wasn't so fond of the alligator bread. I had the same taste, you know, but me never liked the shape. But the duck bread, hey, hey. And I just wanted to get my own little duckling. Of course, you know, if the showbread was a showpiece for this big Christmas breakfast, there was also the chocolate tea. Notice I never said chocolate. Chocolate. And this was made from scratch, my dear. From picking the chocolate, or rather the chocolate pod, from off of the tree. Of course, we children would suck off the beans, because it has a nice little something on it. I can't describe it. And it's nice and sweet to eat. And then they would dry the seeds. And the specialist in making chocolate, and I'm no specialist, so I can't fully describe how it is made. But once it's dried, it is grated, it is beaten, it's rolled into balls or something, and they would make chocolate tea by boiling it in water and putting in cinnamon leaves and sweetening it with, you have to have condensed milk, and some people use coconut milk as well, and sugar with a little pinch of salt. Definitely must have in what you call it now? Nutmeg. Yes, man. So it is really an amazing, rich, hot beverage. And what was really great about it too was that, and it was fascinating to me, because the chocolate was kind of, it had its own fat, eh? So on top of the tea, you would see this thin film of oil because the chocolate was that rich. So you see the showbread that I talk about? There was always anchor butter, you know, or what they would call in the country, best butter. So anchor butter was best butter, my love. Me not giving free advertisement to anchor butter, but then it was a big thing. But listen to me. And when you slather, because you can't just lightly butter bread, you're mad. You have to slather it richly, and plus it's Christmas. And as a child, I used to like to dunk my bread in the chocolate tea. Remember, the chocolate tea done fat already. And you dunk it in there and you eat it. Of course, the thing about it, you know, is that the tea hot. And sometimes in many of the homes, not necessarily in my home, they had enamel mugs. So the mug is made of tin and the chocolate tea hot. Hey, for plenty picnic, them Christmas kind of spoil. Because as them sip the chocolate tea, the hot mug and the tea burn them lip or scorch up them tongue. But it was still a nice time. But I don't want you to think that Christmas breakfast was only about bread slathered in butter and chocolate tea. Oh no. All of the food, certainly at my home, that was prepared the night before, the roast pork, the beef, there was fish, there was always, I think there was ackee and saltfish. If ackee was not in, some saltfish cook up something. It was a smorgasbord of food, a whole spread. It was a feast. There was all the meats, there was fish, there was callaloo, not to mention the ground provisions, and there were certain types of yam, the white soft yam, the St. Vincent yam, you know, that kind of purplish one. And all of that, not to mention dumpling, and it's two types of dumpling, you know, the boiled dumpling and the fried dumpling. I don't remember if there was breadfruit, if it was breadfruit time or pear time. I don't remember. But all I know was that there were all these other accompaniments, whether it is ground provision or other, to go with this amazing feast of meats that was made available to us. And at my home, all of that was part of breakfast. So you literally eat till your belly bursts. Not to mention there was eggnog. And there was a sorrel. So you're having hot and cold beverage, you know. So it was like, if you can imagine, breakfast had no end. So there was really no time for Christmas dinner because you were just eating for hours on end, you know, until a voice said eat no more, and that voice never came. Usually it was your belly that spoke, because you could know that you couldn't take not even, they would say, you couldn't take not even a message more. Let me tell you something. Christmas Day, the feast it made all of the waiting for Christmas worth it. Of course, you know, after all that feasting, by this time now your toys have been opened. You have wished each other all kind of good cheer. The older folks would be drunk on food, quite literally. So they're lounging out on the front veranda, back veranda, under tree, them asleep. And we drunk with food too, but then of course the toys that you got, and a lot of these toys, by the way, that you got on Christmas Day, which was opened up by the morning there and would be ready to be played with after, as I said at my home, the big breakfast feast, were handmade. So the boys would make their gigs and they would make their trucks using whatever homemade thing they did. Sometimes the wheels were made of grapefruit, young grapefruit, but it worked. They would find creative ways to make the toys. So sometimes after that feast, some of the children would be playing. In my case, because I was the little one, I'd be there kind of sucking my finger, and I try to figure out why the dolly eye won't stay open. Every time I put the dolly down, you know, the dolly fall asleep too. I don't understand. It's not like the dolly did eat no food. Somebody try to figure out, which means that I have to screw off the dolly head. Of course, you know, if you screw off the dolly head, sometimes you can't put it back on. But what can I tell you? Christmas was a jolly good time.